What's new around here?
You should pay a visit to Old Mouth sometime. He's our local storyteller, you know. He could tell you all sorts of interesting things. But only if you bring him some liquor. Don't forget, I have some here to sell, if you want. And that's all I'd say.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, innkeeper. I wanted to ask about Henrik.
What about him?
Did he do something to you? Sounds like you're not exactly fond of him.
Aye, I'm not. He's been getting on my nerves ever since he got together with our Manka. I'm afraid he'll mess with her head and run off with her. Just like his bloody brothers did.
Where did they go?
What do I know? One day they just packed up and wandered off. Their village wasn't good enough for them, I reckon. I wouldn't mind if someone went and beat the thought of Manka out of his head. Maybe someone not from around here.
Why not? I could manage that.
He's not much of a fighter, but I reckon if you call him a vagrant or something, it'll surely rile him up. And I'll remember you did me a little favor.
Taking their time again.
Just let me know.
Hey.
Well-aged mutton in black sauce. Good day.
A beautiful maypole you have here. I hear it's the only one in these parts.
Aye, it's the only one around here. Our lads took everyone else's. They're the champions. We just have to keep a good eye on it now. But that's up to Henrik. And why are you so interested in it, eh?
I just wanted to be polite.
I bet you did. I hope you're not up to something. Take care.
Good day to you.
Greetings to you too.
Good afternoon.
People call you the Mouth, right? They say you tell all sorts of stories.
I'm no mouth to you. My name is Denyek. Got that? What do people call you then? Bughead? Arseface?
I'm sorry, Stenyak. I'm Henry.
Pleased to meet you. But you were right about the stories.
Same to you.
I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
To your health, my friend.
Thank you very much. I knew you wouldn't leave me high and dry. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
I'm far too old for fairy tales. Tell me a scary story. One with blood and violence.
Don't you worry. I've got just the one. I just hope you don't shit yourself with fear. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. They were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, So Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one. It was an axe made of pure silver.
Good God. I'd grab that without a second thought.
Maybe you would, but Matthias would never. He was an honest man, and with a big swing he threw the silver axe back. He searched the pond again, and this time he pulled out his own axe. Nothing but dull iron and old wood.
Wait, Matthias threw the silver axe back? What a fool! He could have sold it.
A fool, you say? You'd better listen well. Matthias was just about to leave when suddenly a water goblin came out of the pond, silver axe in his hands, and he said, "You're a righteous man, Matthias, and for your honesty, you may keep both axes." Matthias, not hanging around for the goblin to change his mind, took up both axes, gave us thanks, and ran to tell Kuba all about it. Kuba, however, was not best pleased with his little brother's fortune. He deeply envied Matthias for his newfound wealth, so he set out to try the same thing. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him straight to the pond, threw his own axe in, and began a pretend search for it. Yet Kuba had no luck. He pulled out the axe he'd thrown in himself, so he tried again. Tricked by sunlight, he grabbed something shiny, only to pull out his old iron axe again. Enraged, he hurled his axe back into the water and yelled, "Fuck this axe! I want a silver one!" But the water goblin heard his shameful cry and was greatly upset by Kuba's greed. So, when Kuba reached down into the water for a third time, the water goblin seized his hand, pulled him down whole to the dark depths, and drowned him.
That's so cruel. I feel sorry for Kuba.
Aye, and so did Matthias. He went to the water goblin and begged for his brother's body so he could take him home and bury him. But the path back from the pond led over a steep hill, and carrying the weight of the waterlogged body exhausted Matthias. He stopped to rest by an old oak tree, and he used a silver axe to cut off a branch that would serve as a walking stick. But it wasn't enough. Somehow, it was still getting harder to continue up the hill. Then Matthias realized it wasn't his brother's body that was weighing him down. It was the silver axe. The axe was the cause of all this trouble. So he started bashing the silver axe against the big stone with all his might, trying to destroy it. Yet no matter what, he couldn't even make a dent. With the last of his strength, Matthias climbed to the top of the hill. He knew he could go no further, so he found a pretty spot with a view over the valley and dug his brother a grave. There, he buried both his brother and the silver axe that had brought such pain upon them. His final act was to stick the oak branch in the ground by the grave. But lo and behold, the branch grew green leaves and became a tree. The locals have had no dealings with the water goblin since then, but some have had the bad luck to bump into him. And when you walk by the pier, where it all happened, you can still hear his chuckling.
That was a very nice story.
Story? What story? It's the truth.
Why hasn't anyone gone looking for the axe, then?
Because it brings misfortune. Didn't you listen to me at all? Look for yourself if you wish. Rock Tower Pond isn't far from here. The Water Goblin's pier is somewhere among the reeds. But leave me out of it. I'm fine here with my drink. Farewell. God grant you health.
Greetings to you two. Why is this all sticky?
So, this is your famous maypole.
So they pour the beer on the table.
I'm too conspicuous during the day. Better to try at night.
You have a kind master, eh, Matt? Excuse me.
What do you want here, you scoundrel? Why'd you barge in here?
I need something repaired. Word about the price.
All right, I'm listening.
What a shame. I'm done haggling with you. What would you like?
I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. Ah, what do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Go over to the anvil and let's get started. You shouldn't be here. That's it. Go now. Get to it. I want to see how you'll fare. Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up bit by bit and try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. Work the bellows. You can tell an attempt by the color, but you won't be able to tell what it's inspired. You have to take it out first and then take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. God's wounds. Hurry up and move the sword. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Oh, Jesus, it has to be even! Henry, focus! Give it a try! Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
You have a kind master, eh, Shoggy?
It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is So come over to the anvil. Hear that? Besides the spark, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. Well struck. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly, and the iron feels it.
How do I know a good strike from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up. And it rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me. But if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. They can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them, though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work. What would you like?
God bless.
What do you need? Hurry up. I don't have all day.
What do you have for sale?
I hope you'll be satisfied, my friend.
There's a couple more things I'd like to ask about.
Ask away.
Thanks. I'd like to learn something.
What do you want?